On this episode of Raqs Savoir-Faire, we are going to be talking about something that, well, I'm not exactly a huge fan of, which is video content. You don't have to be a social media marketer to understand or to have seen that everything is going the way of video. You know, when social media started, of course, it was texting like Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, now it's X or whatever it is, and it was photos, posting selfies, posting where you're at, what you're doing. And it didn't take long before we started realizing that we were seeing everybody's highlight reels. And it didn't take long after that before the internet, being what it is, started becoming very mouthy and very rude, sometimes supportive, sometimes really scary. And I think the trend towards everything being video, with things like TikTok, Patreon, subscription services, YouTube is pretty evergreen, as my friend Dan puts it. It's going to be there forever, and it's still one of the best to use, but it is a video format, more or less. And for dancers, this means that you don't just go to class anymore. You don't just go to workshops. You don't just go to festivals anymore. You're going to be on camera. You're going to be on camera. The days of showing up in your sweatpants and getting ready to work and having no makeup on and your hair pulled back where it's nice and comfortable are kind of going by the wayside. And that's making me feel some kind of way. I'm not really a huge fan of it. I'm the kind of teacher and performer that really values artistry. And when I'm in class or I'm teaching class, I want to focus. I want my students to enjoy themselves. I want them to really absorb what's being taught. And not for nothing, but I've always been considered, quote unquote, a plus size dancer. Even when I look back at old photos of myself and I see how daggone skinny I was, I remember clearly from day one being told that I was not suitable aesthetically to be a dancer. That's a whole nother topic. It's absolute BS and it's stupid and I hate it. But my fear with the rise of, okay, everybody wear a cute outfit and we're going to film the choreography so that I can post it on Instagram or so that we have social media content. If that had happened to me as a young dancer, I would have dropped out of class. I wouldn't keep going because I would have always felt like I didn't fit in. And now, as a professional dancer, as someone who's trying to stay relevant, one of my biggest challenges is video content because I know what the internet is like. And it's not just me. I've seen many a dancer, belly dancer otherwise, get absolutely eviscerated online. I've even seen other dancers posting that they've received comments that people are suggesting eating disorders to them. Dancers have eating disorders for a reason. You should try it. Absolutely disgusting, terrible, horrible, just devastating comments. Why? Because they're not telling you this in person. These are the things that people would have gotten punched in the face for in person. But now the rules of engagement for the internet are such that, well, if you post it publicly, then you get what's coming to you, which is the equivalent of, what were you wearing? She was asking for it. I hope people realize that. But I'm also smart enough to know that that's not going to change overnight, no matter how much we talk about it. And the dance world has shifted irrevocably towards video content online, on your website, on YouTube, video content for sale, video content as part of performing, as part of classes, festivals, and events. Now, the good side of this is that, yes, it is very effective marketing. People want to see you dance. They want to see what they're purchasing from you as an entertainer. They want to see if you're good at what you do and you do what you say you do and you look good doing it. I understand that. As an event coordinator, people want to know, What do the classes look like? Are they super advanced? Are they something that is accessible to me? What kind of venue is it in? Does it look like a lot of people attend? Which can be problematic, but of course, it's something that you need to promote yourself and promote your event. It absolutely is. But the downside, as I've been saying, is that you're going to lose 15 to 20 minutes of the class that you paid for in filming. You are going to be expected to show up dressed up with makeup on and ready to film. And hopefully you got that choreography, or you're going to look like, the one that didn't understand it in the video, and it's going to show. How many of you have seen videos of star teachers where clearly the focus is on the star instructor in the video, but you can see in the background that people didn't get the choreography? I would feel weird about posting that as the teacher. I'm just saying for myself. I wouldn't feel good about it. Yeah. It means as a student that, you have to expect to be on camera no matter what you're feeling like that day, or if you're feeling good about it. And if you say, oh, I'm going to sit this one out, are you going to get some sort of pressure or judgment because you're not in the video? I've seen it happen. I've experienced it already. As instructors, I think we need to be a little cautious about how we approach this, because we need the content. We absolutely need that content. But we also need to be aware that maybe people are trying things for the first time. Maybe they're not in a place that they want to be on camera yet. Maybe they don't want to be filmed until they feel confident about the choreography. And let's not forget, some people don't feel good about their bodies right now. Like, do we need to say this? And even as an instructor, as a professional dancer, I feel pretty weird on camera. My previous position at my job did some pretty horrible things to my body, where I lost a significant amount of hair. Those of you that know me, a lot of my hair comes out of a bag these days. And I gained weight, which in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's a reaction to the stress that I was under. But I'm very hyper aware of what the internet and what judgment is like towards dancers, which is wrong, but it happens. Case in point, I'll give two very fine examples. I was performing in Cairo over the past summer, and the day before my birthday, we had our closing gala show with the festival that I was in. On the Nile, I was on a Nile boat with a live band, including the drummer who was on my custom music that I commissioned. So someone that I know is playing music for me on the Nile River, like the day before my 38th birthday, and I'm one of the star performers. Like, who am I right now, right? And I felt so good about that performance. I felt like I nailed it. I did Aktibalik, which Egyptian dancers know is not the happiest of songs. It's quite emotional and dramatic, which capitalizes on my signature style. And I got video of it. Thankfully, somebody recorded me and sent it to me, and I posted it on my Facebook page, my Facebook fan page. I was absolutely stunned at the commentary and the fights that were breaking out in the comments. It was really sickening, and I actually had to stop looking at them. And the really sad part to me is that the majority of the negative comments were from women. There was only a few from men that were off color or kind of snarky, but the really hurtful ones, the really nasty ones, were from American women of my own country. One actually blatantly said, you don't deserve to be on stage unless you can lose weight first. So something that should have been an absolute feather in my cap, a crowning achievement, became a huge source of embarrassment for me, because they couldn't see what was really happening in that video and how happy I was. I'm tearing up saying this, like, this is ridiculous. It's really hard. And here's another great example, which is more towards the teaching example. of why I don't think filming in class is really a great idea. Even though this wasn't in a traditional classroom setting, I recently took a 4-week course with a pretty well-known dancer in Egypt. I would say well-known, but most definitely belongs to the most well-known Egyptian troupe. And that is a technique that I really want to learn and I want to focus on. And, well, let me put it this way. We weren't in a studio setting because obviously the classes were online, but his requirement is that your camera is on, he can see you, and he really, really, really wanted weekly practice videos from us so that he could look at it and critique it and give quote unquote feedback, right? Completely understandable from a teacher's point of view. You're paying for this class. I want to make sure that you're getting the choreography. I want to make sure that you're practicing and you're getting the full effects of it. Yeah, here's the downside of that though. I know as a dancer that I'm the only person in this entire course that looks the way that I do. And you're not going to only be looking at the choreography, you're going to be looking at me. And I'm not feeling good about myself right now. It's not that the teacher or any of the classmates ever said anything to me. Let's get that clear. Nobody ever said that. But I myself am not feeling good right now in my body. So to have the pressure of trying to film and send that was torturous on my side only, right? I want to be really, really clear about that. We have to consider that maybe our students do want to learn and they do want your feedback, but they don't want it on film. They don't want it in the archives of the internet for everyone to see. They don't want the risk of you posting it on your Instagram as a proof of your accolade of your classes, even though it's good for the algorithm and it's good for your classes. We have to be mindful that we should really still have people's permission to use their image and to use video that they send. And there should be the understanding that any video that is sent isn't going to be shared if you don't want it. And you need to make a supportive environment, not just in your classes, but in your showcases, that we are here to support you. Like, this is a safe space. And I realize some people are kind of tired of hearing things like safe spaces and everyone's so sensitive. But, unfortunately, it's kind of a harsh world that we live in. And we're in such a cosmetic industry that if the leaders of that industry are not taking the steps to make sure that you're going to be accepted and supported, and if you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be, that pressure's not there, what are we going to do? So those are my thoughts on it. I would love to hear your thoughts about filming in class. I've tried to cover all points of it. I do understand that there's a huge benefit to it. But I would like to hear it because it's clearly not going to go away anytime soon. So drop your comments below. And again, thanks for listening. And I'll see you next time.